This week on Inside Boulder News, Boulder Police Chief discusses investigation into a shooting of a Mapleton neighborhood elk, BVSD schools outline safety procedures, and Rangers patrol East Boulder following recent coyote aggression.
Welcome to Inside Boulder, featuring topics and stories that impact the community of Boulder, with Patrick Von Kaiserling and Jennifer Bray. And on the news desk, Natalie Wood and Mike Benuelos bring you the stories making headlines in the community this week. Inside Boulder News starts now.
Welcome to Inside Boulder News. I'm Natalie Wood. The recent killing of a bull elk on Mapleton Hill by a Boulder police officer has raised questions from the community about how the police department handles such cases. Inside Boulder News spoke with Boulder Police Chief Mark Beckner about the shooting, the process for determining if criminal charges are warranted, and his department's internal investigation plans.
There are actually two investigations going on. One is the criminal investigation, which is being handled by the Division of Parks and Wildlife from the state of Colorado, and then the personnel investigation, which is being handled internally by the Boulder Police Department. And the difference being that the Division of Wildlife is going to investigate whether there were any criminal violations involved in the actions of the officers, and then we will be investigating whether there were any violations of any of our rules, policies, and procedures. Well, I would tell the community that we have the same concerns that they do. Obviously, we see the same things they do, and we can make some assumptions based on what we know, but we don't base decisions on assumptions. We have to have facts and evidence, and so that's why there has to be an investigation. And the public just has to allow that process to work. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, and we have due process that's involved in any personnel investigation, and we have to follow those steps.
A decision about whether the officers involved will face criminal charges is expected within the next week. Kids are back in class following winter break, and the Boulder Valley School District is doing everything possible to make sure students feel safe in school. Here's a look at BVSD safety procedures and the district's response to questions raised by the mass elementary school shooting in Connecticut. Research shows that school is a safe place for kids.
The truth is, statistically, there is no safer place for a child to be than school. The numbers are really show that for most students, school is a very, very safe place, and that's certainly true in the Boulder Valley School District. But the recent tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut raised questions about security procedures in our own schools. The district recently sent a letter to the BVSD community highlighting those procedures. We do have security procedures in place in schools. We had a $750,000 grant from the federal government to develop a security procedure and to train our administrators in what's called NIMS, an acronym for the National Incident Management System. And it's the way you handle a disaster or crisis in a school, whether it's natural or man-made. We have a great school resource officer program that we coordinate, and those SROs spend most of their time in the high schools. The officers also rotate through Boulder middle schools and occasionally visit the elementary schools. The district has found relationships established between the resource officers and the students to be very beneficial.
Who knows better what's going on in the school other than the students? No one person can know everything that happens in a school. So it's through working with the community, working with the school, getting to know everybody, all the players, and building a trusting relationship with them is the best way to learn what's going on, who's doing what, who's doing the bad things, or who's doing the good things too.
Having an officer present in school also acts as a deterrent for certain crimes.
Just the presence there of knowing that there's a trained law enforcement officer on site to help protect everybody and to do our part and to make sure everybody stays safe. My car is parked, right up by the school, so most people that come in, at least through the entrance that I use, will see a police car there. All the students are aware that there's a police officer in the school. I think the community as a whole is aware that there are police officers in every school.
BVSD also provides a way for the community to report incidents while remaining anonymous.
We participate in the Safe to Tell program, which is a state program that allows a student who wants to discuss or report about an incident and yet remain anonymous to phone in the information. on the Safe to Tell line, and then that information is funneled back without any identifying information about the student. It's funneled back to local law enforcement and into school district security, and we act on those.
These security procedures play a big role in keeping students safe, and BVSD continues to keep safety a top priority.
We can't absolutely guarantee everything absolutely all the time, but we feel like we have the right procedures in place. We just need to constantly be practicing them and communicating them.
BVSD also counts on the partnership of parents and school staff to make certain everyone engages in appropriate security behavior. The district continues to work with the entire BVSD community to enhance the safety of Boulder's campuses. Open Space Rangers are stepping up foot patrols in East Boulder in the wake of recent reports of coyote aggression. Over the past 3 weeks, there have been 6 reports of coyotes menacing people on the eastern portion of the Boulder Creek path, including one attack in which a jogger was bitten in the leg.
For the most part, we're seeing what I refer to as escorting, where a jogger or a cyclist is moving through the area. The coyote kind of comes up and follows them or chases them in a certain area, and then as they continue out of the area, the coyote kind of trails off. What we're trying to do now is get some staff and folks out into the area and sort of retrain those coyotes, so have people out on a daily basis, so that if they see what we're calling this habituated behavior, where coyotes are getting too close to people, they can chase them and pursue them out of the area.
City staff is working with Colorado Parks and Wildlife this week to develop a specific and collaborative plan to address the recent series of human-coyote conflicts. Boulder is celebrating the life and work of Martin Luther King Jr. with 4 days of events. From film screenings and music to a guest speaker that worked with Dr. King, you won't want to miss this year's celebration in Boulder.
This year marks the 84th anniversary of Martin Luther King's birthday, so Boulder joins the nation in paying tribute to his life and dreams. So this year we have a series of 4 days of events that start on Saturday, January 12th, and run through Thursday, January 24th. We have the opportunity to bring, as our keynote speaker this year, Reverend James Peters, who actually worked with Martin Luther King. So he will talk about his experience and how he's continued in Martin Luther King Jr.'s message throughout the years.
The Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations start this Saturday with a slideshow in the main library. Check out bouldercolorado.gov for information on the events. Thanks for watching Inside Boulder News. Stay in touch with us on Facebook by submitting news tips and questions, or send a Sign Me Up message to mycitynews@bouldercolorado.gov to receive video updates like this newscast in your inbox.